It's known as the Sesavang syndicate. Its key lieutenant, Chumlong Lemtongthai, known to colleagues as Chai. He stood trial for trafficking rhino horn out of South Africa last week. He received the harshest penalty ever handed down to a rhino horn trafficker, a 40-year jail term.
I don't want to see a situation where my grandchildren will actually only be able to see a rhino in the newspaper or on the photo without being able to go to a park or a zoo to touch a rhino. The accused is hereby sentenced to undergo 40 years imprisonment.
In court, he claimed he acted alone. But the damning video evidence broadcast today suggests a completely different story. The syndicate would operate by exploiting legal loopholes in existing regulation. We have acquired further video footage and chilling photographs which illustrate one of the syndicate's more ingenious schemes. They would recruit young Thai women, many of whom worked as prostitutes, to pose as hunters in sham hunts. They were paid 5,000 rand each to go on a so-called holiday in the bush. They would be required to provide their passports to the syndicate. Copies would be emailed to Stale, who would apply for legal hunting permits on their behalf. The women would then be taken to Stale's Northwest game farm. They were made to pose next to the carcasses of freshly killed rhino with a rifle in hand, as if they had shot the prey, as these pictures and video footage clearly illustrate.
The photographic and video evidence is backed up by a former member of the syndicate who has spoken to us. He lives in constant fear for his safety and would only talk to us on condition that his identity was hidden. Now, he refers in this interview to Chai, who is actually Chumlong Lemtongthai, and also another man, Peter, known as Pumpitek.
The syndicate, in actual fact, works in a way they would have, in actual fact, been informed by Marnus Stale that he would have, say for an example, 5 rhinos that he bought at the auction sale or whatever. Then he would, in actual fact, informed Peter or myself or Chai and said, I've got 4 rhinos. Can you send passports for applying for hunting permits? The passports would have been scanned with a letter that it's stipulating where that particular or acting hunters stay, and it will all get sent through to Marnus Stale. Marnus Stale then on that side takes it and submit it to Northwest Province to obtain the hunting permit.
And where would you find these hunters? Was it your job to find the hunters?
No, that was Peter Chumlong. He found the hunters from a house in Midrand, where there's a lot of Thai women working, not working at that house, but staying at that house and working at various clubs in Pretoria and in Midrand and in Johannesburg. And then those ladies would be told, we give you 5,000 rand for a holiday, but we want to use your passport. And
so they would take the permit out in the name of these Thai women?
Correct. Then their passports would be submitted, and of course they will be classified as the hunter, but they never shot anything.
And they weren't even capable of shooting in most cases?
Well, sometimes they didn't even see the kill take place. The only time that they actually see the rhino is when the rhino was killed already. And they've been taken there and been standing next to the rhino with a hunting rifle and claim they shot the rhino. But that guns are so big, it's bigger than they are, they can hardly pick it up.
So who would do the shooting?
The ladies that is actually got the permit holder of the hunting would sit on the back of a Land Cruiser with myself and a tracker. And Marnus Stale and Harry Klaasen will go out with a tracker to the spot where they spot a rhino. And then the next minute you will hear shots, and we will be notified by radio we can come.
The syndicate was awash with cash, as we can see in this video they filmed themselves.
I take them to Empress Palace. He always used to say Empress Palace is safe to draw such a large amount of money, because if you go to a normal autobank, your chances of getting robbed there is easy. Then Empress Palace has got all the security guards and everything there, and it's easier to draw there because as you walk out, security guards are present, you're in the car and you're out.
So you'd watch them, they'd use these 2 credit cards, they'd draw all this cash. Yeah. You even got asked to?
Yeah, I actually never seen it in my entire life. that you can draw so much money from an auto bank. They would drain one machine and move to a next machine because Empress Palace has got quite a lot of machines there. They would drain, I've experienced at one time that they drained 2 machines. So.
And how would they carry this money out?
In a bad boy bag. All the money would get stuck in there. And sometimes I even had thousands of rands in my pocket to help them to get the money to the person that they wanted to pay. Chai is a type of a person that loves, I don't know if you can call it show off, but he was, while the people were counting the money, taking pictures of all the money on the table.
In one instance, Chumlong Lemtongthai decided on the spur of the moment that he wanted to buy a luxury vehicle, in this case a Hummer. He would only pay for it in cash, and this video footage that they filmed shows the money being counted out.
So we found one in Pretoria and spoke to the guy, and Chumlong Lemtongthai said to me, if I pay the guy cash, how much discount is he going to give me? So I asked him, and he said to me, like I said, I can't remember the exact amount, but I know it's more than 200,000. And he said, okay, and tell him if I buy it now and I pay him in notes, can I take the car that day? He said, I asked the man, and he said, yes, you can.
Our former syndicate member now lives in constant fear for his life. He is ashamed of what he has done, he says, and bitterly regrets it. Towards the end of our interview, he broke down sobbing.
Well, Deborah, I had death threats, photographs sent to me. There was a reward out on my head that if anybody can tell them where I am and kill me, they would get 100,000 rand. His wife sent me some pictures of people being beheaded, people being hanged in forests, women being killed in bathrooms and stuff like that.
So was it worth it?
To open it? Yeah, definitely.
Even with the death threats?
Even with the death threat, yeah, definitely. Sorry, Jim. It's okay. I think it's the best thing I've done.